Alright, Electro Living End. This is something we've played a couple of times in the past. We try to build with these Dragonlords, and we had okay success with it. We tried another build with Iona and Urbrask, which was mediocre. Something that I'm trying today are Sarkhan, the Fireblood, with 2 in the main and 1 in the board, with the idea being that this is a way that we can actually sidestep Graveyard Hate by just casting dragons by using his plus. He also just like rummages, which lets us like filter through our deck looking for our cards. He's also an alternative win condition against control or mid-range decks that don't have an answer to him, so I give that a go. I've also got 1 Stomping Ground for 3 copies of Assassin's Trophy in the sideboard here today, so we have ways to take Leyline of the Void and Rest in Peace off the opposing side of the table. Fancy, thanks for the Prime support. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're having a good one. Have a good one, Dwyer. Yeah, it'll be up late tonight. So remember, if you come back later and you're looking for it and you don't want to wait for YouTube, you can always watch my past videos as a sub on Twitch. So I'm planning to do 10, 12, maybe even more hours than that today. So stuff probably won't be on YouTube till tomorrow. I have seen the Arclight Phoenix Second Legacy. Buried Alive Dark Ritual seems sweet with it. Modern is fair and balanced. You are not wrong. You are not incorrect. Not so wicked. Good morning. Yeah, I mean, think we keep this. Just like has half our combo in Dominance / Yahenni's expertise. Has some cards to see some more cards. We're on the draw. So, the reason why we play a Yahenni's expertise as opposed to Karizev's is because Mausoleum Secrets can only fetch black cards. So, by having a Yahenni's expertise, it allows Mausoleum Secrets to fetch either half of our combo. It allows us to either get Living End or a card that can cast it. So, I agree with you. If we weren't playing Mausoleum Secrets, I would say we definitely would prefer Karizev's expertise, but I think Yahenni's is better because we can tutor it up. Deagle in a can. Thank you very much for the brand new Prime support. Is that Deagle as in Desert Eagle? I played a lot of Counter-Strike growing up. Lot of Counter-Strike growing up. Street Wraith, sure. Definitely want to get our cycles in before we Faithless Looting, just like dig a little deeper. Perfect. Gives us more chances to find things like our dragon. So looking for a Living End at this point, and if we draw a Living End, we'll actually turn to them here. This is why we play these 2 different Dragonlords, because these 2 Dragonlords together deal lethal when they floop into play. Obscene Sanity, thank you for the 9 months. I appreciate the 3/4 of a year. when you get used to nice things, Punishing Waterfalls. So now we just need to find basically one of our 6 copies of Living End. If we draw a natural copy of Living End, we'll get to combo next turn. If we don't draw a natural copy of Living End, we draw Mausoleum Secrets, we'll combo in 2 turns. If we brick on either of those things, we'll cast Cathartic Reunion and draw a bunch of cards next turn. So 4 cards for lethal here. So 4 out of 49 to end the game on turn 2. Because that's modern. The opener from the opponent does in fact feel like Mother of Rune's basic planes. You are not wrong. Alright, so do I want to bolt the Smuggler's Copter? Or do I want to just like Cathartic Reunion and like churn through my deck? I probably just want a Cathartic Reunion and churn through my deck. Sabanite doling out the sub gifties. Good morning. Hope you're having a good one. Thanks for the support. So this is Magic's older client. It's called Magic the Gathering Online. It encompasses cards from all 25 years of Magic's history, and we're currently playing an older constructed format called Modern, which has all cards legal that have been printed in Magic's like last 17 or 18 years or so. So this is the relic that all digital Magic was played on before before we had the beautiful Magic Arena. It has most of the relevant ones. It's like all. Didn't combo on turn 2, can we file for comp, right? So we drew a bunch more cards here. So like next turn I can Faithless Looting to dig for Living End, and if we brick, I can Lightning Bolt one of their creatures and then like shock something in. So the question a lot of people have been asking is, what 8th edition was 2003, so 16 years. Perfect. That makes sense that Modern's an angsty teenager. One of the things that this build has over traditional Living End, in addition to getting to play the combo style kill in the Dragonlords, this deck also gets to play interaction like Lightning Bolt and like Faithless Looting and stuff like, well, Faithless Looting's not interaction, but like cheap cards that less than 3 mana. Do I miss Twitter? No, can't say that I do. Yesterday's stream was really peaceful, not like thinking about things that didn't matter. Morning, Greasy. So I got 3 shots to draw a Living End to kill them. So if this Faithless Looting finds a Living End, they die. Alright, that Street Wraith could find a Living End to kill them as well. So I think I'm going to go ahead and ditch Cathartic Reunion and Sarkhan here, because Sarkhan's definitely going to be too slow. Subterfuge, Jaya, Ballard, Build Around. Got it. So next turn they're attacking me for 3, 4, 5. So I can cycle this, and if I hit Living End, they die. That's Mausoleum Secrets. So that's interesting. So they're attacking me for 6, 7, 8. So I actually can't shock in this Blood Crypt. I actually can't shock in this Blood Crypt because I'll die. Because this gets me Living End. But I'd have to shock it in, which means I'm dead on board. Well, I guess technically they like use this to crew, and this is 6, 7. It has me exactly dead. Yeah, so I need to hit an untapped land for next turn. So their deck doesn't have like Lightning Bolts or Haste creatures in it, most likely. So the fact that they have 8 power here basically isn't that big of a deal. So I think I just go ahead and cast Faithless Looting to try and find an untapped land for next turn. Gosh, that's awkward. Oh, actually, that's fine, right? So I discard this, and I discard this. And then I get to play this Blackcleave Cliffs out here, which means I can Lightning Bolt one of their 3 power attackers, and then I can shock in Blood Crypt and not die. Yeah, so the Blackcleave Cliffs here lets me shock one of their attackers, or bolt one of their attackers, and then I take 5 down to 4, and then I can shock in the land going to 2, and then like Secrets for Living End, and then Electrodominance Living End, kill them. So assuming they don't have any funky ways to main deck ways to interact with my graveyard, we should be good to go here. Great. So blast that. Take 5 down to 4, untap, kill them. I'd just like to apologize to everybody watching that we didn't kill them till turn 4. I am also incredibly disappointed, and we are kind of unlucky. If we had been slightly luckier, maybe we'd have been able to kill them sooner. But for now, we'll have to settle for a turn 4 combo kill. Hey, look, we gave him a clue. Roar. Here there be dragons. Yeah, nice blocks. Negative 12. My turn. Next game. His eight turns. They took 4, we took 4, right? Alright, so this is definitely, I think this is a Sarkhan matchup. I'm expecting my opponent to board in Graveyard Hate. So I think this is a Trophy plus Sarkhan matchup. It's probably a Fatal Push matchup as well. Collective Brutality is probably mediocre here. Yeah, expecting Rest in Peace is probably not unreasonable. So, a touch more interaction just because, like, if they have Disruption, I'm going to need more ways to keep their board at bay. Sarkhan also lets us filter through things. Trim Secrets in the face of Rip. That's potential, yeah. Yeah, I could, like, trim Secrets and Yahennis and just, like, have 4 Dominance and 4 Living End and just, like, hope to have my interaction find my way into it. Or, like, my card selection. It's probably not unreasonable. Is it? Yeah, I guess it is kind of just okay as a sweeper. That's like trim a Cathartic Reunion then. I feel like if I want to fit Yahenni's in, it's Cathartic Reunion I trim. I think I want to keep all the cyclers. You want to cut Street Wraith? I don't know. Keeping all my dorks in is important. Like, making my deck really small is important. Yeah, I mean, I've got 5 pieces of removal, plus I've got 8 pieces of removal in my deck. And, like, the thing that a lot of people always, like, fail to recognize with decks like this is, like, they look and see, like, we only have, like, 5 or 8 pieces of removal or whatever it is, but then they're not accounting for the fact that, like, my deck is basically 40 cards. Like, there's what? There's 12 creatures that cycle, there's 4 Faithless Lootings, there's Cathartic Reunions. Like, my deck's, like, 40, 45 cards at most. Like, the number of cards we churn through is very high in this deck. Urabrask wasn't very good. I'm very confident that Dragonlord Kolaghan is better than playing Urabrask. I'm gonna keep this. It's got a couple of bolts in it. Needs to draw some stuff, but if we hit like Faithless Looting into Electrodominance, if we draw Faithless Looting on 1 and then we looting into Electrodominance, we turn to them, so. Turn 1 Tech Edge. That's gotta be. Sure. Rip me, baby. Sure. I'm just gonna go ahead and bolt this now before I get into any sort of trouble with it. Or they like play a Ghost Quarter and we have to play cat and mouse about it. And then, with the right series of draws, we can kill them as early as next turn. Obviously, we'd have to be pretty fortunate. We'd have to hit Faithless Looting into Electrodominance, but we do have the possibility to end the game every turn from here on out if they don't have Graveyard Disruption. Tithe Taker. Just one more to activate abilities and cast spells. I'm pretty sure that includes cycling, so I'm going to go ahead and cycle this in response. This is an activated ability, I'm pretty confident. This is free. Yeah, might as well. This includes fetch lands, right? It's actually kind of good. So, I'm intentionally not fetching my Stomping Ground up because I only have 1 green source in my deck. And ideally, I'd like to hold off on fetching the Stomping Ground until I need the green mana. So that way that my opponent doesn't have a chance to like Tech Edge or Ghost Quarter or do something like that to attack my colored source. Nice, cycling a Horizon Canopy here. That would be very good for me. I have an X spell? No, Knight of Autumn, sure. So this is probably going to be a 4-3, which means we're going to need to bolt it. Gain 4 life. Deal. So I'm getting my last Blood Crypt here instead of my only Stomping Ground, because I want that to not be exposed to land hate. Okay. Do I play Sarkhan and just have him die here? Yeah, I think loot a dragon, draw a card. Gosh, we're actually so close to just casting the dragons at this point. Can we, I mean, like, what are the odds they don't play anything next turn, though, right? Like, if they don't play anything next turn, if they place anything next turn, they're still going to kill Sarkhan. I think I'm actually playing Sarkhan and then plussing him and discarding the World Renderer. Because, like, I'm only 2 lands off of casting this. And if they leave this alone, just Dragonlord Kolaghan should likely be enough. It's like draw a card plus gain 4, right? I think that's a fine exchange. Digs me deeper. Like we're at a point where like I just need, if I hit an Electrodominance or Yahenni's, I win the game. I left Yahenni's in, right? Yeah, I left Yahenni's in. Any recommendations for the best deck to beat mono blue? In my experience, the really aggressive decks tend to be good against mono blue. White aggro, red aggro, things like that. They have a hard time interacting with lots of creatures on the board. Decks that are really efficient. I actually haven't played much Leyline versus mono blue. I believe that matchup is fine though. So if Sarkhan doesn't die here, he's gonna put a Dragonlord into play. They don't have another threat here. I'm a little bit sad that I just like ran Sarkhan out, but I felt like they were pretty likely to have another threat. I don't know. Hopefully we just like draw our thing and kill them. They do. Oh, that's a threat. That's adorable. Oh, why didn't I discard this? Because I'm an idiot? Probably because I'm an idiot. I guess I might be in the realm of casting that still. Probably not. Alright, so we're getting to a point where we're just not going to beat Graveyard Hate. I think we're at the point where we're just not going to beat Graveyard Hate. So just digging for Electrodominance or Yahenni's expertise at this point. Hey, Garrick. Thanks for the 3 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I don't think casting the dragon's good enough. Like they just like have a path to exile and we lose the game. I think I'm seeing enough cards here that like casting the dragon is unnecessary and like they have so little going on. I might be getting double tech edged here, which would be unfortunate. Yeah, we're getting double tech edged. Perfect. Remember when I said unfortunate? I meant perfectly fine. Hey, Wolfblade, thank you very much for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Thanks for keeping me around. Look at all their annoying creatures, chat. All their annoying creatures came back. So, do you have a path to exile, or are you dead? Driving in my dragon, beep beep. Wait, they exiled the double strike one and not the haste one? Oh, my sweet, sweet summer child. Saw the Watsy thing on Twitter. Hopefully my beta bucks help out. Well, thank you, Monster. I appreciate that. It's for this stream. This stream sponsored by viewers like you. Always has, hopefully always will be. Thanks for keeping me around. So, need to dodge land Wrath of God here. Is this a pig floop? I'm not sure, actually. It's a good question. I got to use your greatest poet of a generation the other day, and it was wonderful. God bless. Gosh, look at all these fair white creatures that are playing, chat. I don't know how we could ever possibly win the game. And a question for you about 4-color gates versus turbo. I don't know what turbo is. What does turbo mean? I don't know what turbo is in the context of the current format. You know what's really funny, Aaron? There were a bunch of people who they cited the things that I do that are mean were tweeting pictures of modern board states to Aaron Forsyth and Ian Duke. And like, I had a couple people are like, if you really wanted modern to change, you should like write detailed articles that are data driven on why changes could or should happen. And I was just done responding to people. I was just like, I've written so many data driven articles about modern. And just like my pop shot screenshot tweets were just like, that was me having given up. That was me having written lots of data driven articles, just been like, you know what? That doesn't work. So maybe this will end up being the case. You know, honestly though, the best mind state about this format is just letting it go. One of the worst things I ever did as a Magic player was like hoping modern would change. Like that was just silly of me. I'm interested in the Mardu party bus. Is it a magic bus? It is kind of magical. Bant Nexus. Yeah, that matchup's hard for that archetype. It's not unwinnable with your sideboard cards, but it is definitely hard for you. If you want to learn about the matchups for 4-color gates and how I would sideboard against them, my thoughts on them, you can check out my article this week on Cool Stuff Inc. This hand's like pretty reasonable. It's got 2 cyclers in it. It's got a Faithless Looting. Sadistic, thank you very much for the 12-month resub. I really appreciate that. Thanks for keeping me employed here. I knight thee, Defender of the Realm. Go forth and protect us from Twitch chat. Yeah, so the last version was a viewer-submitted build that I wasn't really a fan of. We tried Iona and Urabrask, and they weren't fantastic. I like taking my Faithless Looting here. I think that's a good take. How would you compare this with regards to Griselbrand, losing itself? I think this deck is less explosive than Griselbrand, but almost certainly more consistent. I think just the fact that like this deck has so many cyclers in it makes it absurdly consistent. So, in case you're not aware, Bad Tinker, Stoneforge Mystic is one of the cards that's never been legal in Modern. When Modern was originally created as a format, they banned a bunch of cards that were previously too good in Standard, assuming that they would be too good in Modern as well. banning all the offensive 1-mana spells and Opal and Manamorph would make it not modern. I'm just waiting for a more fair. Yeah, I agree. I think most people are used to what it is and they're happy with it. So just like let people like things basically. I think I'm gonna go ahead and Collective Brutality using the discard mode here. My opponent's deck's like full of counter spells and stuff, so there's no reason to just like jam aggressively into them when I have a little bit of disruption here. Unbanning everything is nonsense, and I'm gonna time you out for suggesting it. And that's like a logical fallacy that like a lot of people jump through. That's very annoying to interact with. This idea that because there are a number of things that are on the ban list that would likely be safe to interact, to jump from that space to everything on the ban list shouldn't be there is nonsense and shows a fundamental misunderstanding of how to balance these formats. Power level of everything in TCGs is format contextual, and what that means is a card can be too good in one format and not too good in another. It also means that like if you unban everything, cards like Chrome Mox and other fast mana are going to eclipse things that are otherwise still too powerful, even if those other cards are banned. Yeah. Yeah, and then like once you ban Eldrazi, like there's the next thing that's broken. It's like you need to manage the ban list. Insinuating that this stream was a right. That's impressive, Yahenni, because this stream is a lot of things, but that is certainly not one of them. That's impressive. I haven't seen that lie before. Actually, if anything, the single worst part for me about the fallout surrounding the whole Mythic Invitational thing is that I've had a bunch of people who are really deep right wing who have a huge problem with the politics that I present on the stream about like treating people with respect and decency and all that, who have like been sending me hateful messages saying, ha 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 ha, your politics were bad and we were right. Watsy didn't invite you because your politics are bad. It's like, no, that has nothing to do with it. Like that's the single worst part about it. All right, did you draw a Stubborn Denial? I assume you did because that's how this works. They dismembering their Gurmag Angler? Nope, just drew the stub. Got it. Alright, well, the good news is I get to try again next turn. So, I either not have land, Snapcaster Mage, or another Stubborn Denial. And I know one of their two cards in hand right now is a Death Shadow, so hopefully we have a chance here. Okay, the both sides are wrong fallacy is nonsense. Yes, neither side is perfect, but it conflating that they're both equal in what they're trying to push as agendas is just hot nonsense. Like, there's literally, like, the far right literally doesn't want people treated as people. Like, not to, like, Like, I get it. I get that there's people that are conservative that just, like, don't want money spent, but there are people on the far right that think, like, people who are queer shouldn't be treated as humans. And, like, that's disgusting. And those people are garbage. If you don't want to treat people as human beings because of their sexual orientation or where they come from or what they look like, you're a terrible person. There's just no other way to put it. And pretending that anybody on the far left is anywhere close to that is nonsense. I agree. I agree that it's rare. Yeah, one side you should be taxed more. Other side, people should... Yeah. All right, what am I doing here? I think it's just upkeep. I think it's just upkeep Electrodominance. That's just not true. Get out of here, Johnny. I'm tired of you. That's just patently incorrect. Patently incorrect. And I've had this rant before, but we're gonna get there. You think the right cares about babies? You think the right cares about children? If they cared about children, they would make sure children when they're born have health care, that they could afford medicine that they wanted, that they had food on their table. Don't sell this to me as caring about people. They don't care. They just want to control people and their bodies. And that's a useful appeal to emotion. Yeah, they literally put babies in cages. Like, what happened down there, that's one of my triggers. When people try and make this about kids, it's not about the kids for them. I get that they appeal to the emotional, you care about children. They're appealing to that. They're preying on your emotions with that appeal. If they actually cared about kids, if that was important to them, they would make sure those kids have health care. They would make sure those kids are fed. That's. So don't act like they care about people. Don't act like that's what this is about. I agree. I would completely agree that it's almost certainly an American thing. And because it's an American thing, because there are people in the American political landscape, they know how to push the buttons, right? They know which thing. Do I have lethal? I don't think I have lethal, right? Yeah, I think we're just swamp walking them to death, right? They have one card. Swamp walk them to death sounds fine. Dig for a bolt here, potentially. I'm not saying that pro-lifers don't care about actual people. I'm saying that implying that people who are pro-choice with the idea that they want to kill children only is horseshit propaganda. It is hot nonsense. That's not to say all pro-lifers don't care about children after birth. I'm saying many people in the political landscape that push that as a thing that they want are only pushing it because they know that that's a button that they can push to get the support of people who otherwise wouldn't support them. You shouldn't make blanket statements about either side. That's fair. I concur with that. When they talk about right-wing Republicans being terrible people, I'm talking about those in power. There are millions of people in the country who have genuinely conservative beliefs. Yes, there's a lot of regular people. And the biggest part of the problem is that there are a lot of people in power, especially in the GOP, who use issues like abortion when they don't actually care about the children. They just know that this is a way to grab people's attention that they want the votes for. That's what they do. They don't actually care about the kids. Because if those people actually cared about the kids, they would be working to get them health care and make sure they can stay alive and actually live once they're born. And I believe that there's a lot of pro-life people who want to have that and want to support the kids after that. But like the way the people who use those hot button issues on the political spectrum, like the way they present themselves, they're not doing that. They're just using that to grab votes. Yes, that's a great way to put it. The political leaders have co-opted genuine intentions of well-meaning people over an actual issue in order to get votes. I agree. This is an Assassin's Trophy matchup just to kill their stuff. I think this is probably an Assassin's Trophy matchup just to kill their stuff, right? Just like if I keep their threats off the table, they're not gonna be able to kill me. Do I trim like Dragonlord Atarka and like bring in some Duress as like anti counter spells? I think so. I think it's probably better than Collective Brutality. Isn't it inflammatory to make blanket statements that one side cares about treating people with decency and respect and the other doesn't? You're right. That is a blanket statement. And if I said that, I apologize. What I mean to say, Sags, is that if you look at what one party tends to be voting for, the people that are actually elected, and what the other party tends to be voting for, that one party tends to vote in ways that allow people to be treated as humans far more often than the other. I agree. Making blanket statements is bad. And if I did that, I was wrong and I shouldn't have done that. My intention was to say that in general, in the US political climate, one tends to lean in one direction, the other one often doesn't. And there are a lot of issues with the Democratic Party in the US as well. But you know what? There's new people coming in. Like that's why like AOC getting support and stuff like that. Like these ideas that people actually want to hear and like putting in things like taxing the ultra wealthy and stuff like that, bringing that back is important. You know, there's probably something to that, Mary Pringles. I agree. Like having like an actual human being being elected to political office and like seeing her use her platform for good is like really impressive. I agree. Campaign finance reform is huge. It's funny, the original like democracy meme on this channel is like basically poking fun at campaign finance, right? Like people can be bought and paid for. Most if you have good healthcare, babies being born is covered by healthcare, but a lot of people don't have good healthcare. What primary platforms do I use to get my news? A variety of them. I follow political people on Twitter. I use a little bit of Reddit. I check what's the ProPublica is the independent news source that's independently funded. Atarka World Render should be Imperious Great Worm. Atarka's a fatty. I don't think Sarkhan's too cute for Modern to Paris. If you've played enough matches of Modern, you know that a number of matches of Modern tend, especially post-board with hate cards involved, tend to devolve into people sitting there staring at each other for a while. And I think Sarkhan's perfect for those types of situations. Sarkhan's exactly the type of threat that this deck wants against something like blue-white control, for instance. I think it's wild. I think it's wild how many people who make like, you know, 50 grand a year think we shouldn't tax people extra who make more than $10 million a year. That's super wild to me. Like, I don't know what, like you live on 50 grand a year. You don't think the people who who make 10 million a year can't pay extra on the money after 10 million? Like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and fetch Shock and Assassin's Trophy this. Try and get it out of the way before we die. And speaking as someone who has taught simple interest to college freshmen, it doesn't really surprise me that people don't understand how the tax brackets work. Marginal tax rates is it technically correct? What's going on, Punk Out? We are in match 2 of our Modern League. And I'll definitely need to make sure I turn comments off on this one. My favorite, I had some person, they were like, their argument was the government can't do anything right, so they shouldn't have taxes or provide services. And I was like, you know, like, do you drive on roads? Like, do you use any public services in the town in which you live? You probably do, right? So, like, you think the government can't do anything, but, like, you use a bunch of stuff that the government does to, like, help stop nonsense. I think I'm just trophying this Gurmag Angler as well next turn. Ditch a couple of these lands. Do you have running water? Does electricity get to you? Potholes being fixed would be nice, you're not wrong. Do you pay the fireman when something catches fire, right? That's a good one. Well, getting a Dispel out of there isn't the Stone Cold worst. I think I'm gonna try and looting twice here, just try and find our way into the combo. All right. Oh, I did board in Leyline of the Void, didn't I? Alright, well, if they don't have a counterspell, we could potentially go off next turn, but we're dead here to, like, a Snapcaster Mage, so I cycle these Street Wraiths. Yep. Correct, Bulgarian. Have you been hit with the "you're just a Twitch streamer, stay on a politics argument"? Yeah, that's what everybody who dislike a lot, not everybody, don't make blanket statements. A lot of people who dislike my takes on things just give me the "this should just be Magic, shut up and play." Is effectively what you get out of it. I think I just keep that there. I need, like, I have, this is technically an enabler plus a living end. So, like, I just need to get poopers in my bin. The difference between saying many or a lot of people and saying everyone is that saying everyone doesn't leave wiggle room, because everyone is basically never true. I mean, like, and at the end of the day, a lot of my political takes past treating people with decency and respect are just like based in like reasonable things, right? Like, take my stance on marijuana. I think marijuana is disgusting, and I wouldn't mind if it was banned and removed forever and nobody could have it. But that's an unrealistic take. If marijuana is not legal, it's going to devolve into a lot of illegal things surrounding it, which makes it expensive and dangerous for people who want to have it, which then creates further crime. So legalizing it and taxing it just makes sense because it reduces crime and increases revenue. That's just, so it just makes sense to have that be something that we do, in my opinion. Because the alternative when you don't do it sucks. Hey, what's going on, 9ball? Thanks for the 9 months. I appreciate it. You're right, yeah. And there's so many states hurting for money that, like, not legalizing it and making money off it is just so foolish. Which deck has the most consistency in Modern right now? The Temur Phoenix deck we played yesterday. Temur Phoenix deck yesterday was absurd. It was very good. What's yesterday? It was 2 days ago. 2 days ago. Milla, thank you for the 36 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I will say it's been super rich watching watching people who are Republicans condemning the nonsense that went down. I don't remember which southern state it was at this point, or which eastern state where the governor and all that stuff came out about him. But, like, yeah, is it Virginia? Virginia sounds right. Like, condemning that, but, like, putting up with, like, stuff other people do, and, like, Stephen King and stuff like that. It wasn't North Carolina for once. It wasn't us. It wasn't us. No, he's I think that's his name. No, not the author. Is a senator, I believe, or something like that. Steve King. It's Steve King. Steve is short for Steven a lot of time. It's Steve King. All right, there you go. That one. The rep from Iowa. Yeah, that one. I don't know. There was a large chunk of Democrats who were, like, condemned the person from Virginia. And honestly, the Democrats that didn't condemn that person from Virginia probably need to be looked into. Oh, Spellbomb is a tough nut to crack. I think I just have to trophy the Spellbomb, right? I think I just have to trophy the Spellbomb. And they chose to just get the land rather than nuke my graveyard, so I guess that's good for me. Grab Living End and suspend it. Is that the line? That might be the line here. Holding a land for Cathartic. I boarded out Cathartic. Maybe I should maybe hold a land for Faithless Looting, though. I think I'm actually just going to go get another Fatal Push here. Did I already burn both Fatal Pushes? Alright, yes, it's trophy it is. Nah, I think they were just starved for mana, most likely. Every time someone gets the news for doing something stupid and it didn't happen in Florida, a gator gets its wings. Hey, Zach, thanks for the brand new Prime Support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. I appreciate the Bezo bucks. So I'm doing this now because they don't currently have mana to snap Stubborn Denial. So they need to have a Dispel or another stub here, which they do apparently. Yikes. No reason to Faithless Looting here. I don't have any cards in my hand that I can keep at the moment. I'm on a 3-turn clock, so I need to find something to do before that kills me. Yikes. What are my lines here? So like, remember Faithless Looting puts us down a card, so even though like it like looks at 2 cards. So even though it looks at 2 cards, we don't get to keep, we only get to keep 1 card at the end of it. I think we're probably just dead here. I could loot into a trophy. I only have 1 trophy left in my deck though. I think I'm supposed to pass here, and I think I have to hope to get lucky. I think I'm supposed to pass, draw a 3rd card next turn, and then next turn I'm supposed to... Oh, I'm dead on board. I'm dead on board. I'm dead on board. It doesn't... I wasn't counting. Yeah. That's fine. This matchup's probably hard, right? I don't think it didn't matter. We were dead. Didn't matter if we cast it. Yeah, decks like Death Shadow tend to devour these spell-based combo decks, so we took 1 game. Took them to 3. 3-2 sounds about par for the course. Then arguing that states should legalize marijuana to help states' income, a bad argument because there are states that have lower incomes management. No, that's not what I said. I didn't say you should legalize marijuana purely for income. I said the income was an upside. I said marijuana legalization makes sense because marijuana and things like it being illegal creates more crime. Not only does it put people directly related to drug crime into prisons pretty much needlessly, but it puts people adjacent to doing illegal things in more danger, and people who otherwise wouldn't be doing illegal things get into danger because they're around it. Correct. Illegal doesn't get rid of the problems, it makes it more expensive. It makes it more expensive for the people who are just like looking to use the drug specifically, and it makes it expensive for like, instead of generating revenue, it then makes it expensive because like it taxes your prism system basically because you're putting more people through it. Yes, putting people in, like there are a lot of for-profit prisons out there. And there are a lot of people who lobby against things like legalizing marijuana are people who run for-profit prisons or companies that run for-profit prisons. And again, I've never smoked. I never plan to smoke. I think it smells terrible. But, like, I understand, like, the reality of it is, like, everything just ends up better with it being legal for human beings. Where's my Yahenni's expertise? Or my, where's my Electrodominance? We might die next turn. We might dying next turn might be a real problem. Hey, what's going on, Howls? Welcome back. Where's the line? For me personally, I'd let people do whatever they want so long as they're not harming others. I don't care. Whatever you want to ingest, like you want to go nuts and hurt yourself so long as you're not hurting other people, I don't care personally. I think we're supposed to your rights end where everyone else's begin. That's such an elegant way to phrase it. I'm going to use that in the future. That is an A+ way to put how I feel. Your rights end where everyone else's begin. As soon as you want to impact other people, that's where we start to care. All right, this puts me to 14. They currently have 2, 5. I should have counted this before I shocked. This is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think I Cathartic Reunion here. And I Reunion, and I'm going to discard Reunion and this. Actually, I'm going to discard these two because I have to find my thing next turn. I have to find Electrodominance next turn to not die. So I'm only going to be able to cast Faithless Looting. So I have 1 extra mana here. So I'm going to cast Faithless Looting, get 2 more looks. So I have 3 shots at Electrodominance next turn, basically. Assuming I don't die here. They could just play Shaman of the Pack and kill me. Is that lethal? That's lethal, right? Yeah, Elves is real good. Correct, Demir Spy. Yep. You know, like I said, it's actually really funny. A lot of the people who take qualms with like what I do here the qualms aren't directly related to my political stuff. Because a lot of the people who have qualms directly related to my political stuff are like really repugnant people who are mostly shunned. Like, I think there's a lot of people who like don't agree with me fully, but like are also like respectful and reasonable about it, right? I do my best to try and be respectful. I know I fail at that sometimes, but like, yeah. I try. I think I'm boarding in 1 trophy here. I just like want some removal. I think Sarkhan's too slow. This is probably fine, right? We're just going to be like a combo control deck this game. We're going to like bolt their first play and then like start getting set up from there. Yeah, I agree, Burgle. Dubs removal spell to start sounds fantastic. There's lots of things that are highly addictive that are legal. There's lots of things that are highly addictive that are legal. The difference is There are companies, the things that are legal now have companies that lobby for them. Magic, for example. You know what? And you know what, honestly, I don't think slip-ups being immortalized is necessarily a bad thing. I think you learn a lot about people from their slip-ups. And I think if I look back at the ways I've slipped up or messed up, I can look back on those and like go, yeah, I wasn't that far off base. I can look back on it and go, my intention here where I messed up was in the right place. It wasn't just me like screaming terrible things at people. So like the problem with that is like I agree you should generally be respectful and try and listen to other sides. Gengar, thanks for 8 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I've definitely learned a lot listening to other people. The problem with that is the idea that every argument has merit to it is also patently incorrect. Because, for instance, there are literally people who will make arguments that like certain people shouldn't be treated like human beings. And those aren't good faith arguments that are worth entertaining. Those are people that are just being hateful who aren't worth listening to. And then there are people who are like slightly more reasonable than them that then make like slippery slope arguments. They're like, well, if you say we shouldn't listen to people who say kill entire races or religions of people, who else aren't you going to listen to? It's like, what if we just like don't listen to the people that want to kill groups of people? What if we don't do that? What if we just don't listen to the people that want to like, you know, treat them as not human? I think I just hold the living end. I think I also hold this mountain in the event that I draw a Faithless Looting. That's good. Invalidating everything because they hold some opinions are patently wrong and of itself. I don't know. Like, if you're gonna be like, if someone honestly walks up to you and like, we should kill everyone of this specific race or religion, like, you're gonna say they probably have other things that are worth listening to, so we should give them a chance. I don't think that's true. I think that's nonsense. I think there are things that disqualify you from being able to have other reasonable interactions with people. All right, well, we're on the we need to just hit it plan. So we need either a Electrodominance. The Yahenni's expertise actually isn't good enough here, so we need Electrodominance. Assassin's Trophy. All right, trophy means I get to live another turn because I can kill Azuri. Yeah, I'm holding Mountain for in case I draw something meaningful. Am I dead? No, this is only 13. I don't have a Faithless in the yard, otherwise I would have cast it already. Alright, one last shot. It's the chance to roll. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm thinking, I know the last league we played this in, we had different win conditions, but playing this some more is leading me to the conclusion that this deck's just not consistent enough, which it doesn't surprise me. Like, it's just like a lot of these, like, fringe random combo decks that, like, can combo off on turn 2, 3, 4, right? Just, like, when they do their thing, they're, like, really obnoxious and frustrating to play against, but a lot of the time, like, a little bit of disruption just beats them up. Modern and I have a weird relationship. It's broken, but it's a till death do us part relationship. What's going on, Shaksha? So 7 months, welcome back. The problem is that people think freedom of speech means that people think freedom of speech dictates people have to tolerate them, which is not what it does. Freedom of speech doesn't mean you have to have a good faith discussion with someone who's claiming to be a Nazi. Freedom of speech just means that the government's not going to put the Nazi in jail. A lot of people conflate those two things, though. Or a lot of people, especially people that like want to say terrible things, is like they'll hear like we shouldn't tolerate hate with like you're saying you want to take away freedom of speech. It's like, no, I'm saying that I'm not going to listen to you and I'm not going to like entertain your ideas. That's what I'm saying. Man, we are having some major wrong half problem today. Oh, you know what? I should probably do this before I cycle, because if they have a logic knot, they can logic knot me for 1. Alright, didn't matter. Standard will probably be starting sometime in the next 20 minutes. Give or take 20 minutes to half hour. When am I supposed to suspend a living end here? It's probably likely. Slayer with the big tip. Thank you for that. Love watching your videos. However, won't be able to catch many live ones. Put this towards Grishel brand. I'm going to build it when I get home using list from website. Sweet Slayer, thanks for the support. Should get that. Should get that dropped in next time we jam some more Magic Online. Oh my gosh, I should have. I'm going to get spell snared and hit myself. It's just logic, not. Whew! Whew! Probably should have paid 1 more so we don't get snared. Man, it's a tilt that we don't have, a Simian Spirit Guide. I'm off this deck. Hey. People that were asking about standard, we're gonna go play standard right now. Yeah. To wrap here, the first league we played, we ran a little bit hot, believe it or not. This deck suffers from a lot of these fringe combo decks in Modern suffer. If you run really good, you're gonna cheese a bunch of people out and make people who want to play interesting games of Magic be upset, but people who want to play interesting games of Magic probably should play Modern anyways. But compared to something like Temur Phoenix or Burn or the more efficient, like redundant combo decks in Modern, this just like didn't feel very good, so just gonna go ahead and write this one off as a failure. I was thinking about adding this pro upside, but I just don't think it's good enough after playing it more. Modern's just so brutal and efficient. Just this is not redundant enough. Not redundant enough, not interactive enough. No, Mardu Party Bus is actually, it's weird. There's a creature that I had never seen. I didn't know it was legal until someone submitted this deck. It is quite literally a Party Bus creature. Lumbering Battlement is the Party Bus. No, Modern's never coming to Magic Arena, most likely. And I'm gonna run to the restroom really quick. You take a look at this one. Mustfall Casting asked a question before I stepped out to use the restroom, asking which Eternal format do I think, what they phrased, they said, which Eternal format creates more challenging games. I think Modern and Legacy both create challenging games in different ways. Legacy tends to be more about sequencing, whereas Modern's more about knowing how to sideboard in a variety of matchups and then mulliganing accordingly. So Legacy tends to have more in-game decisions, I think, while Modern has more things that impact what you have going on outside of game, basically. Is what it comes down to.